What are some common signs that someone grew up with SHTTY parents?
Emotional numbness, especially in the face of bad things. Once you've seen enough poo, certain things just don't faze you anymore.
You remember being severely neglected yet you were told you were spoiled.
Haha, I regret clicking on this thread.
Having no desire to see them.
They lie. Lies specifically for avoiding conflict. Actually, I change my answer to avoiding conflict. It's avoidance until an explosion. It's all they know. Edit. Thanks for the silver. I had a rough day. It's almost 5 a.m. and I'm still up. Point 2 rough days. So I didn't log in for a while and wow. What a depressingly large response. XD. Ooh, we're all effed up. Some personal reference. I used to lie so frequently it was easier than remembering the truth. I would get mad at characters on TV for being so bad at coming up with a plausible denial. One day I decided I was broken and now I won't lie. I tell the truth all the time and it's so calming. My spouse, also poo parents, will lie about anything money related. Thanks in-laws. But he's so bad at it and never covers his tracks. Like, come on. At least have some childhood trauma that makes you good at it. For real, he just says everything was on sale. I've gotten used to just ignoring anything he says about money.
They don't understand simple gestures of kindness. Took my husband a long time to understand that my parents liked giving little gifts to people and doing things for them, that they weren't trying to insult him or us or make us feel incompetent. They were just showing affection. Edit. Some people are focusing on the gift part of this, while I was trying to emphasize the kindness. Like, my dad, or brothers, offering to help or keep company when he mentioned he had to fix the deck or paint the shed or go to the junkyard for a car part. To him the offer was insulting and suspicious. To them it was just what you do to make someone's life easier. But in his family that notion didn't exist, so he couldn't figure out why it was happening, except he didn't think it could be a good reason.
I get so anxious anytime my in-laws give me anything. Especially since they're pretty well off. Or letting us borrow money for an unexpected vet bill. Money was always used against me. I'm extremely defensive and would rather cut off my left ear than put myself in the situation I had with my parents. It's getting better over the years but still is really challenging for me.
This is exactly how my husband was. My dad finally sat him down and told him that they simply loved him and liked doing things to make him happy, and he broke down and cried. He hadn't experienced that ever from his family.
Not being able to remember the majority of their childhood. I'm talking about huge gaps of time you just cannot recall. I get it. Repressing the memories is just the mind trying its best to protect itself.
They don't form attachments to others. They grew up in an environment where such attachments were a negative and/or resulted in negative outcomes.
Narcissistic parents are the worst. You can't beat them, so you stop playing the game. 20 years goes by with you wondering why you are alone. Then a therapist points out to you they have been shaping your relationships the whole time by shutting down your ability to value them.
Paranoia, the inability to trust others and obsessively overthinking every conversation they have. Also, speaking from a personal perspective, people that grew up with toxic parents continue to question their sanity and reality here and there from the continuous gaslighting.
Doesn't talk about their interest because parents have never showed interest, belittled them.
Whoa. Yeah, I guess I'm just realizing this. My stepdad would constantly make fun of anything I liked, e.g. music, movies, even the type of orange juice I preferred. Now, I don't mention my interests to people because I'm afraid of being embarrassed. Edit. To add. A few people are genuinely asking about my interests, and I really appreciate that. But I guarantee you're all going to make fun of me for liking the Dave Matthews Band. I also like horror movies and prefer no pulp orange juice.
They are always trying to figure out what they did wrong and what they're supposed to be doing and how, while editing their own thoughts and feeling vaguely bad.
I always felt like every little mistake was my fault and I should apologize for being such a bad person. I wasn't a bad person, I was just a child being a child.
They're a desperate people pleaser. Someone who'll leap to the aid of anyone, who'll give up anything they have so that someone else doesn't miss out, who will go well out of their way to be of assistance, and who abhors *needing any help themselves.
People who try way too hard to please, and are terrified to put themselves first. This is the saddest trait because it's the easiest for fresh predators to take advantage of when the parents are out of the picture. If only terrible parents knew or cared that they were grooming their kids for future abuse. Edit. Putting yourself first in this context does not mean being selfish or narcissistic. It means having the capacity to set healthy boundaries. It means understanding that your opinions have merit, that your emotions matter, that you should have complete bodily autonomy, and that you shouldn't fear the wrath of Zeus if you say no. Also, it means that you should never have to do anything you're uncomfortable with to earn someone's love.
I feel this. Entire childhood spent pleasing others. Now I feel like I've gone the complete opposite direction. I'm too harsh and bitchy. I can't seem to find a safe middle ground.
Control freak. They grew up in chaos, alcoholism, gambling, foreclosure, and are obsessed with averting some unforeseen disaster.
The direct inverse of this too, giving up control too easily and thinking you are powerless to life, always being pooty.
They're completely unwilling to open up and share anything because in their experience it will always be used against them.
For me, I have the opposite problem. No boundaries about what to share. I can never tell how close I am with someone, and I am comfortable basically telling anyone anything. But I think it comes off as weird and a turn off to people, like a red flag. I just want to connect emotionally with people so desperately it is like I will do it with anyone who will converse with me.
A lack of self-esteem shows up in so many different ways. My so basically told me that I make her worry because I don't boss her around, which leaves her always wondering if I'm disappointed in her or if I feel she's not being a good girlfriend. If I boss her around and she follows my commands, then she knows she's done what she's been told and has nothing to worry about. This has become less of an issue over the years. I refuse to boss her around. I try to show appreciation instead and remind her that I love her, but she still worries she's not good enough sometimes, and I hate that. I don't blame her, but I hate it more than anything. I feel she's never been good enough for her parents, which has left her vulnerable to date guys who take advantage of that and also made her feel like she's not good enough. Edit. To all the people suggesting therapy. She would love to get legitimate therapy, we just aren't financially in a place where that's affordable. She's in an online support group though. She says it really helps, but she wishes she could do the real thing someday.
It's great that you're modeling normal, good, respectful behavior for her.
I'm starting to think my parents weren't the best parents.
Going into random panic mode when something insignificant goes sideways.
Emotional deregulation is a big one. I have cried over some very minor things or have had explosive emotional outbursts because I didn't have a healthy model for expressing my feelings when growing up.
Why is nobody mentioning the silent footsteps? When you grow up with parents that will yell at you for existing, you develop the ability to hide your presence as much as possible and always try to keep your noise and visibility to a minimum.
They go out of their way to please people. They can't take compliments because they're so used to being put down. They flinch if they hear someone raise their voice or at loud noises. Edit. I'm going to add in the fact that they're not good, uncomfortable with conflict even if they're not directly involved, because they inevitably get dragged into the conflict when their parents are arguing.
They get attached way too quickly to anyone that shows the bare minimum of human empathy. Is this how I write it? Towards them. Edit. Thank you for the awards, and I'm also calling myself out with this.
Called me TF out.
Hell, I'm calling myself out here.
I knew a kid who'd instinctively cover his head whenever someone was behind him, and he'd refuse to sit or stand anywhere that didn't have his back to a wall. His older siblings beat him up regularly. He'd frequently be coming to school with fresh bruises, and when a girl tried to comfort him, he thought she was just trying to lure him into a trap and hit her, which got him expelled. And growing up, I'd see him around town. He dropped out of school completely and got into DG. His parents never gave a poo. Never. Not effing once. He had nothing because his older brothers would steal and destroy anything he ever owned, even his clothes, so he'd wear the same thing for weeks on end. Is it any surprise that he's been in and out of prison all his adult life? Parental apathy is effing poo. And to add a cherry on top, his abusive older brothers went on to live pretty happy, fulfilling lives, but the little brother they tortured and abused for years became the societal and family outcast.
That's really heartbreaking. Disappointed.
They have unstable relationships. Struggle in social situations. Weren't taught basic household tasks. Get nervous when someone raises their voice. Don't know how to apologize or apologize for things they shouldn't apologize for. Struggle with intimacy, physical touch. Are often people pleasers.
When they think they always cause problems for others and when they are emotionally and socially closed off, so it's very hard for them to be more sociable, etc. Edit. Thanks for the awards and making my day better lol.
That ever-present feeling of being a burden and having done something wrong gets ya.
Delivered a pizza today. The kid, around 15 said sorry over 20 times and I was at his door for less than 2 minutes.
I had a great childhood but can't stop apologizing. Anxiety is a bitch. Edit. Because people are CS. Yes, I have actual anxiety. Yes, it has very much impacted my daily life in ways I don't even want to go into. You don't know anything about me from one flippant comment. Absolute twats.
It's the way they apologize. For example, it's not just sorry. It's sorry, said quick and urgently to avoid being hit.
They say sorry all the time for the smallest of things. They try really hard to please you, even if there's no reason for them to do that. They're incapable of putting themselves first. They need constant reassurance that they're a good person. They assume you're upset with them if you seem even slightly disinterested. They have difficulty maintaining friendships as they feel they're not worth your time. They can pick up bad habits easily. D.g., poor diet, poor sleeping pattern. They feel drawn to people who are bad to them as it's all they know. They don't even recognize the bad poo their parents, or other people, have done, as they're just used to being shat on all the time. They can be insecure in relationships as they may feel they're unworthy of your love. When they're dealing with poo, they may isolate themselves as they never learnt to put their trust in other people due to their parents using those issues against them. They'll have poor social skills. They may be very obviously autistic, ADHD, depressed, etc., but haven't even considered it because their parents don't believe in mental health and mental conditions, or just refuse to accept that their kids might have something even remotely different about themselves than the parents, as those parents don't see a world outside of themselves. These are examples I've taken from myself and friends I know. Please always be patient with anyone who deals with bad parents. They're trying to go through life without ever being properly set up to understand it, and I can promise you they're doing their best. Love them like their parents refused to do properly.
They tell traumatized stories and think they are happy memories. Edit. Wow, I did not expect this to hit so hard with so many people. Thanks for the awards.
20 years of child abuse and neglect, and I can only think of 1 or 2 stories that are genuinely funny. It's not a great feeling, and I feel out of my league when people recant happy family stories from their childhood. And in the back of my mind, why couldn't I have that?
They suck at apologizing. Either they apologize for every small little thing because their parents made them feel guilty just for existing. Or they never apologize at all, or only apologize insincerely, because admitting you are wrong is a sign of weakness. And #X200B. And #X200B. Edit. Virtual hugs to everyone commenting and feeling represented by this. What happened to us during our childhoods was cruel. No one should have had to live through that. For the people that were asking about me, I'm in a much better place now. But in my downtimes, I still do mourn for the childhood that I never had.
Well, this relaxing walk through childhood hell was a nice break from reading about the start of WW3. Or not.
The startle reflex. When they flinch at loud noises, or when someone puts a hand on their shoulder, or when they feel they've done something wrong. A patient called me the wrong name, and when I gently clarified, he flinched like he was about to dodge a blow.
Thank you for watching. We upload new videos every day, so be sure to come back for more fun. Please consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed the video.